Hello everybody, my name is Jason Cheney and I'm here to talk to you today about something that is very important to me and something I'm very passionate about, and that is the current legal situation surrounding cannabis. I know, right? It invokes such strong feelings in everyone who hears that. I mean, you're either completely for it and supporting it or you're completely against it. There is no middle ground with this. And I'm here to tell you today why you should be pro-cannabis. Alright, here's something to think about. Every 25 seconds, someone in the United States is arrested for drug possession. Now, a Gallup poll that was taken in 2016, that's just last year, found that 1 in 8 adults smoke cannabis. Now, whether they're doing that for medical or recreational reasons, not important. 1 in 8 smoke cannabis. This means that out of the people in this class, statistically speaking, 3 of you are current users. An additional 7 of you have tried it before and just don't currently use it. Now, let's talk about the legal policy surrounding cannabis. Currently, in the United States, the policy we have is extremely unjust. It needs to be reformed. And let me explain what I'm talking about before you all jump down my throats here. Marijuana arrests, just for marijuana, outnumber the number of arrests for violent crimes in this country. That means that our officers are spending more time tracking down, arresting, and imprisoning people who smoke a plant. Spending more time on that than looking for murderers, rapists, thieves, armed robbers, all those violent crimes. Now, honestly, if I'm walking down the street, I'd much rather encounter somebody who's smoking a little cannabis than I would somebody that's looking to stab, rob, or rape me. Priorities. Alright, so moving on here. A report published by the Human Rights Watch in 2016 stated that there were 13.6% more arrests for marijuana possession than for all violent crimes counted together. So this isn't something I'm making up. This is from the Human Rights Watch. It's an independent organization. Now, the war on drugs that created this entire situation, the reason that our law enforcement and our law is so focused on this one particular thing, was actually created by Richard Nixon. Now, it was created as a political tool. It actually had nothing to do with public safety, health, or any of these things that we think are the reasons that cannabis is illegal. Now, I know what you're thinking. It sounds like a conspiracy theory. Sure, you'd say that. You're on the pro side of this. But wait. Some of you may have never heard of this man. There's a man named John Ehrlichman. Look him up. He's the former aide to President Nixon. Now, President Nixon, as I said, is the one who started the war on drugs in this country. Now, he stated in an interview, this was an interview with the magazine Harper's Magazine back in 2016, April of 2016, that the Nixon, and I quote, "The Nixon campaign in 1968 and the Nixon White House after that had 2 enemies, the anti-war left and black people. You understand what I'm saying? We knew we couldn't make it illegal to be either against the war or black, but by getting the public to associate the hippies with marijuana and the blacks with heroin, and then criminalizing both heavily, we could disrupt those communities. We could then arrest their leaders, raid their homes, break up their meetings, and vilify them night after night on the evening news. Did we know that we were lying about the drugs? Of course we did." Now, this is straight from the horse's mouth of one of the men that is responsible for creating the policies that still drive our drug policies today. Alright, so now that we've covered why cannabis is illegal in the first place, let's get on to why it shouldn't be. Alright, cannabis is no more dangerous than either alcohol or tobacco, both of which are currently legal. Now, in a report released by the National Academies of Sciences, Engineering, and Medicine, alright, now this is released in January of 2017. The negative effects that are known to occur from cannabis use are pretty much the exact same ones that also occur from either alcohol or tobacco. Now, I will say there is one unique long-term side effect. We're not going to talk about short-term because short-term really isn't an indicator of anything. But the long-term side effect that's unique to cannabis is that it may aggravate an existing case of schizophrenia. Now, hear what I'm saying, existing case. There is absolutely no science at all that says that it causes schizophrenia. None. There's no evidence by any reputable study that shows that it causes any type of disease. Now, if you already have schizophrenia and you decide to use cannabis, it may aggravate it. That can be said for a lot of things, though, including alcohol. Now, this is, however, in adults who have fully developed brains. There's absolutely research that shows that cannabis use can cause developmental problems in young brains. That's under the age of about 20. Now, it's not recommended for people that are under the age of 20 or children to use it. I don't think anybody is wanting that. Alright, so it definitely should be an adult-only thing. But in consenting adults that know what they're doing, have fully developed brains, and are being responsible with it, there's absolutely nothing wrong with cannabis. There's no long-term harm that it's going to cause them. And any of the effects it does have are similar to those that alcohol and tobacco have. Again, they're legal. Alright, it also has medical benefits. If we're not even talking about recreational use, let's talk about medical. Okay, this is something that isn't even in debate in the scientific community right now. And again, going back to that article from the National Academies of Science, Engineering, and Medicine, from this year, January of this year, they reviewed all the research since 1999 and determined, straight up, that yes, cannabis does have medical use. In fact, they specifically mentioned the case of pain relief, and that it could definitely be a very good medication for pain relief. There's also evidence that suggests that it may be effective in treatment of a host of other conditions. Now, the science is still a little bit out on this one because there hasn't been enough research done, mainly because of legal policy concerning cannabis. It's kind of hard to get a hold of something to research when it's illegal. But the research that has been done is very promising and shows that it could definitely be successful treatment for other conditions, or used to create medications for those conditions. Alright, so to wrap this up, in short, the current evidence that we have available to us from the scientific community supports legalization, continued prohibition of cannabis is going to cause far more harm than good. Whether you want to use it yourself or not, it is causing harm to arrest the people that are and are not harming anyone else. The only responsible action we have to reduce the tax burden on our prisons, to get our law enforcement back on track and looking for the correct things, and to stop prosecuting people who have done nothing wrong, is to end cannabis prohibition now. Uncle Sam needs you. Contact your congressman, contact your governor, tell them that you support this action. I hope that I have helped shed some light on the subject and maybe, hopefully, lead you to agree that it's time to end prohibition. Thank you, and I thank you for your time. Have a wonderful evening. Bye-bye.